Eli Lederman, Eric Baily, Tulsa World, OU Spring Game 2023. Eric, it's kind of breezy, it's kind of chilly, little rain. It feels like it did for most of the day here in Norman, but Spring Game 2023 is in the books.
A little over 50,000 fans arrived at a Memorial Stadium, excited about seeing Oklahoma's football team, as well as Kyler Murray, who was honored at halftime. That was a big deal for the Sooner Nation. They've been looking forward to Kyler making his appearance here, getting his statue dedicated at Heisman Park. He is now one of 7 players who have their statues immortalized in the park.
Heisman Park got its 7th statue, and that's a good place to start because we were out there this morning, and the crowd was huge for Kyler. I don't, if I can recall correctly, they didn't do a similar thing for Baker. Maybe they did, but we were there, deep crowd. You had all the people there, Billy Sims, Bob Stoops, Barry Switzer, and then, of course, Kyler, Brent Venables, Joe Castiglione, and it was a short ceremony. They had another thing for him at halftime, but the statue, by all accounts, well liked, and that kind of kicked off the day.
And we did have a chance to talk to Kyler after the fact. Kyler excited to be back, kept mentioning how much he really appreciated Oklahoma, his time here. Joked to the crowd at halftime that maybe he went to the wrong school to start off with. I know people down in College Station probably winced at that, but just a fun day. But let's talk about the football. I think that was the big thing. I think it was a day where, you wonder who's going to win this game. It really looked like defense dominated the day when you count the offense versus the defense.
Well, I'll say if you were in the crowd or maybe watching at home, you might have seen second quarter, scoreboards seemed to get sticky for the defense. Brent Venables admitted that was him. It was getting kind of lopsided. I think the scoring system, the funky thing they introduced, lent itself to the defense racking up points. So they slowed it down. In the end, I think it's a day still dominated by the defense, but it was a close finish. We saw Jackson Arnold's first career touchdown. I guess that we'll see another first career touchdown at some point, but he threw one, had a chance for the win there at the end, slipped through Jaden Gibson's hands, and the defense takes it. But the final score is not really what's important today. It's some of those performances, and let's start with Dillon Gabriel, Jackson Arnold in the offense.
Dillon Gabriel, 3 touchdown passes, looked steady after a slow start. He had 1 interception, which was an outstanding interception. Jeff Lebby called it just a great athletic play by the freshman Peyton Bowen, Jackson Arnold's high school teammate. So I think Dillon Gabriel, once he settled, really ran the offense well, found different receivers. Jackson Arnold came back late in the game, had a touchdown pass. I think we got a chance to talk to Jackson after the game. Little butterflies. He said he was a little nervous, gets nervous for every game, and this was the first time he played in front of this many fans, too. So you can tell as a freshman, here's a kid who was at the prom last week. This week he's in front of 50,000 fans playing football. But it was a big learning experience for Jackson, kind of culminates with what they did over the 15 practices.
And I do think worth noting that the 2 first-team quarterbacks today were Dillon Gabriel and Jackson Arnold. We didn't see Davis Bevel or General Booty or Jacob Switzer until the second half, so take with that what you will as they close out spring camp. Beyond the quarterbacks, who on offense jumped out to you today, Eric?
It's really hard to say because the defense really did dominate a lot of the game. The one player who really piqued my interest was DJ Graham. Late in the game, made a couple of outstanding catches that got the team in scoring position. Really made a great one-on-one move, and I was impressed with him. Jeff Lebby was asked if DJ Graham can help this offense. He said yes. So it's kind of to try to see how his career evolves. We'll have to wait and see. The running backs, they were hurt. They had 3 young running backs back there, and you could tell that they were a little nervous, a little skittish, and didn't win a lot of one-on-ones. And I think that's what hurt the offense too. Lebby said the running backs are going to have to win one-on-one situations for them to be successful.
So going to the defense, the day started quite literally with a Dasan McCullough bat down. They ran that double pass at the start, Dillon Gabriel to Drake Stoops, and Drake Stoops' pass got batted down and ended with a finger wag from Dasan McCullough. And I feel like that set the tone for what today was, because the defense really was kind of on the front foot. Brent Venables used the term precise. And you saw some really impressive individual performances. Dasan McCullough, one of them. Reggie Pearson, another transfer in the secondary. Kip Lewis, who's a guy who's really intrigued me as this linebacker depth, still needs some shaking out. He looked great, and it was for a group that was really synonymous with the struggles of this team last year. For them to have a good spring game can only bode well.
Peyton Bowen, again, I'll mention his name again just because he made an outstanding play. And that's right. This is where the defense needed to be after 15 practices. They needed that improvement. They needed that momentum going into the summer when it's a lot of player-led deals. I think that's big, and I think that's what we saw today. And I think that's what's going to carry them over in the summer. We asked Ted Roof about how important is it to carry that momentum. Extremely important. I mean, for this team to get better, they're going to have to do a lot of stuff on their own, a lot of conditioning with Coach Smitty. But I think that's the big thing is you've got momentum on defense going into the summer, which will probably, if you're an OU fan, hope it carries over into fall camp.
Well, Eric, where does that leave us now? They closed fall camp, spring camp, I'm getting ahead of myself. Brent Venables said he'll meet with just about every guy on this team in the next few weeks. And then he cuts them loose. And then, as you said, summer hits, and soon enough it will be fall camp. Where does this team maybe need to improve between now and then?
I think it's going to be important for them. First of all, we'll look at portal situation. What's going to happen? Are there going to be some more players jump into the portal? We saw a couple this week. Jaden Davis, in particular, cornerback, hit the portal. We're going to see if Oklahoma's going to bring some players in, and they may lose some more players to the portal. There's a short window after the season where that's going to happen. So we'll see where that goes. But it's just so important. Jackson Arnold said it. Getting stronger, and that's the thing. Learning that playbook. Those younger players, even the newcomers that came in this year, they're going to have to learn the playbook. They're going to have to really digest everything. I think that's the most important thing right now for this team.
Yeah, I think the portal, you can probably expect it this week just about with every other program in the country. Maybe a flow of guys out, and then what can OU address in that second portal window that's not going to be as deep? It's not like, December where everyone hits the portal. But Brent Venables said it this week. He wouldn't tell us his plans, but he said there's places we want to address, and maybe they can do that in the portal. But Eric, spring game 2023 in the books. We'll be back here for fall camp. It feels like before we know it. But until then, thank you for watching, reading, listening, everything we do at the Tulsa World, and we'll be back with more.